Out of the gate with Carson Wentz. He is released today by the Washington Commanders. Quite the fall from grace from the former second overall pick in the 2016 draft. Wentz was a big part of the Eagles' Super Bowl run in 2017. He went 11-2 as a starter that season. Now, for the third straight season, the team has moved on from Carson Wentz as its starter. The move saves the Commanders $26 million against the salary cap, so it was not unexpected. Let's take a knee as we welcome you to Birds Huddle, powered by PointsBet. Barrett Brooks, Michael Barkann. Barrett, is Carson Wentz finished as a starter in the NFL, and if so, what is his future?
Well, I mean, he played his way out of being a starter. It's not our fault that he didn't play up to expectation. He played magnificently in 2017. Now he's played less than average, and his output is terrible at this point. So it's nobody's fault but his own, if you would say it's a fault. He just overplayed what he was, what he got paid for. So now he's not a starter. It's not like he can go back and just change what he's done. He has his mode of operation. That's what he is at this point. So people see that, they're not going to make him a starter now.
Backup or no?
I don't think he wants to be a backup, so I doubt seriously he even come back to play. He won't come back as a backup. That's number one. He doesn't want to come back because then feels as though he is a backup. So no, I don't think he's come back to play. I think he's done now. He's made enough. In fact, he's laughed all the way to the bank. He doesn't need the money. He's made the money. He can chill out, go back to wherever he's from and chill and go hunting whenever he wants to, fishing whenever he wants to, do whatever he needs to do.
All right, this program's not about Carson Wentz. Time to get to Barrett's three-point stance. First stance. Sean Desai feels like the front runner at defensive coordinator for the Eagles. It is reported today he'll have a second interview with the Birds this week. Barrett, the former Temple coach.
Well, you know what? I think it's analytics. You want guys that make those type of decisions, smart guys, and this guy's definitely a smart guy. Look into his resume and the guys he's coached with. I mean, I look at it. He was with Vic Fangio. I mean, he's a disciple of his. He plays in a 3-4 type of defense. So I look at what the players he has on his team right now. It's a 3-4 type of defensive personnel packages that they have. You got the big guys in the middle, the zero techniques, guys that can two-gap right there. Then you have linebackers that can rush from the outside. Guys like, Johnson, both of the Johnson kids. You got Hassan Reddick. They rush from the outside. If he comes in, he plays a similar defense to what we just saw with Jonathan Gannon. I'm hoping he gets a little more aggressive. There's a little more zone blitzing because that's what you do with the personnel packages that he has. You send blitzes with zone packages, and I can see him doing that. When you block those type of fronts, when you have a 30 front with a nose head up on it, then you have defensive ends on the tackles, it gives the offense an even front to look at. So you don't know what direction they're coming from. If they're bringing the Sam and the Mike on one side, or the Jack linebacker and the Will linebacker on one side, or maybe bring a safety, drop back the Jack linebacker, and make sure they bring a Mike linebacker. They can do all those things when you have a defensive coordinator that understands zone blitzing, and that's what they want to do when you're in a 3-4 system. Or maybe plays a 5 down, a 50 front, where they have everybody can come off the wall, and you have to block each other, single up with the offensive line. You can really blitz from a lot of different places if you have that mindset. We saw that Jonathan Gannon really didn't have that mindset and being more aggressive. Maybe he does. But at this point, I mean, if it looks like he's getting his second interview, he might be the front runner and getting his defensive coordinator job.
Will the Eagles decide on Desai? Stance number 2. Taking Bijan Robinson 10th overall isn't crazy. The running back out of Texas was top recruit and didn't disappoint. Here's NFL Network analyst Daniel Jeremiah on the prospect of Robinson at number 10.
It's hard to find a team that's let's put together a better roster than the Eagles. I don't think there is one, but I think that San Francisco's done a really, really good job, and I think they're right there with them. And I look at them as a team that traded resources and obviously dedicated a lot of money towards Christian McCaffrey. And I saw what Christian McCaffrey did in that offense where they already had a bunch of good players and how he took it to a whole nother level. And I think, man, I know how he doesn't take running backs. I know how he doesn't take linebackers. But when you look at that offense with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and all of a sudden you drop in Bijan Robinson into that mix, holy moly.
That's Daniel Jeremiah, and you look at the book on Bijan. Barrett, you really like this kid, don't you?
Oh, there's nothing that you can't like about the way he runs, his running style. He's a slash guy. He can run to the outside. He's fast to get to the outside. He can run in between the tackles, has great balance. But the big thing with him being in this offense, this is a run-first-centric type of offense. So if he gets in this offense, it gives you the dual threat of having both him and Jalen Hurts out there, and his ability to catch on the outside. You could put him out there as slot receiver, and he could play just like a wide receiver. You can line him up at the H position, have him come out the backfield, run Texas route, run wheel routes. He is a really good player because he's explosive, great balance, and he could take it to that next level. He is a game changer and a game breaker. Drafting him at number 10, I don't know, but I'll tell you this. If they did, he'd be special. It wouldn't be like they won't get their money's worth with this kid. He is fast enough and a good enough player if you did draft him at number 10 to give you the results you want from the running back position. Now everybody's saying, all right, we already have people, like we have running backs. This kid here is special. And every once in a while you get a special kid that can go out there and do a lot of things right. He's one of those guys who can do a lot of things right. Put him behind that offensive line. The offensive line, especially if Kelsey comes back, this could be a special offense.
Bijan Robinson out of the University of Texas. Stance number 3 for Barrett Brooks. The NFL better not ban the Eagles' patented quarterback sneak. The competition committee meeting this week, and that's among the proposed changes. 1, do you think they'll do it? 2, should they do it?
That's just haters. Don't get mad at us because we know how to do it the best. That's just people hating on us, knowing that it's a play that you cannot stop. This team made a living off being in the red zone and running QB sneak for not just touchdowns, but for big yardage. I've seen a couple times where Jalen Hurts ran a QB sneak and ran for like 10 yards. That's unheard of. But when you have a quarterback that benches 600 pounds, don't get mad at him because he's coming with all that funk. Don't get mad at him because he can squat linebackers and drive you back. Don't get mad at us because we have the strongest quarterback in the league as far as running the QB sneak. That's a decided advantage for us. Let us keep doing what we're doing. Stop trying to hate on us. Stop trying to take something that we're good at. No, we're not good at. We're great with that. And also, if in the Super Bowl, if my guy didn't jump off sides, Sam All didn't jump off sides, we'd have made that first down.
Boom.
It would have been a fumble, and we'd have won the Super Bowl.
But I like that. Bring in the funk. That's what they do with that play.
Can't stop it.
Other teams are allowed to do it.
Yeah.
No one's. Come on.
You just don't have a 600 squat quarterback. That's
right. Gardner Minshew can't do it. No disrespect. He's unable to do it. But Jalen Hurts can, and the Eagles can. Appearing right now on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com, Dave Zangaro's Combine Week preview. From the Eagles coordinator search to a potential extension for Jalen Hurts and all the free agent and draft prospects in between, there is plenty to be on the lookout for. That's right now. That's continually updated. NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. Read all about it. Michael Barkann here with Barrett Brooks in our NBC Sports Philadelphia studio, and of all places, Philadelphia. Let us travel by the miracle of television to the heartland, to Indianapolis, Indiana. And there we find our friend and colleague, the aforementioned Dave Zangaro. It's the Bird's Eye View, presented by Bush Auto Group. David, you're freshly in from Philadelphia and Indy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's always a long week here in Indy, but it's always fun. A lot of news is going to come out in the next week or so.
It sure is. And I'm just happy you have a great view of Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, Friday, we discussed Howie Roseman's checklist and what he needs to get accomplished this offseason. You'll speak with him and Nick Sirianni tomorrow. What are the top 3 questions on your mind for the Eagles coach and general manager?
Yeah, if they don't have a defensive coordinator in place by those meetings, that's certainly at the top of the list. They have to fill out their staff finally. They got kind of a late start on that, so they have to accomplish that. Jalen Hurts is kind of that contract, and that whole saga is kind of hovering over this team right now. They got to figure that out. I'm pretty confident they will. You look back at the history of this organization, they always seem to figure that out. They always seem to get in there and really try to make those moves. And then it really becomes about, how do they fortify this roster and get back to the Super Bowl? I mean, that's what you have to look at right now. It's not about winning the division. It's not about getting to the playoffs. It's about how do they get back to the big game and give themselves a chance to win it. It's not going to be easy this year because you have so many free agents potentially leaving. So you have free agency and you have the draft, and it's up to Howie now to try to figure out how to get all those pieces together and try to get back there again next year.
All right, Dave, you got free agency. You got to sign, your franchise quarterback. You got all this stuff going on. What do you think is the first marble to drop? What gets those dominoes rolling? What does he do first?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the offseason moves in terms of player acquisition, I don't think you can really do much until you understand what the quarterback contract is going to be. So whether it's finalized or not finalized, you at least have to have it pretty close to know what the whole structure of the salary cap is going to look like. And look, they'll backload that deal no matter what it is, but you still need to know what you're playing with. And I think it's going to be really tough to go into free agency if you don't know exactly how big this quarterback contract is going to be. And there are other reasons too. They should act as quickly as possible because those Joe Burrow contracts and Justin Herbert contracts are going to be coming down pretty soon too. If you can beat them to the punch, I think that's worthwhile.
Let's talk about the value of the combine. Last year, Jordan Davis was a combine darling. He put up eye-popping numbers for a player his size. When it comes to the combine, how much do the Eagles weigh those performances, Dave?
It matters, as you want those tests to really back up what you're seeing on film, and that's the perfect blend between that old school football stuff and the new school analytics. In any good organization, those two things are not fighting against each other. They're working in harmony, and the Eagles hope they have that. It seems like they do. It seems like their football guys, the old school football guys, understand the value of analytics and vice versa. And when you get that perfect harmony, that's when you end up with really good drafts.
Dave, I forgot how good he looked on film, man. He blew it away in the combine.
My goodness.
Right. Didn't he
like
look
a
good?
cornerback.
Exactly. But, there are two defensive studs at the top of the draft. Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter and the Alabama linebacker Will Anderson. How close an eye do the Eagles will have on those two, particularly at the chance of moving up this year in the draft?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because we look at the draft right now and quarterbacks kind of change everything. And there's a really good chance that 4 quarterbacks could go in the top 10. And when you're the Eagles and you're not in need of a quarterback, that's music to your ears because it means some pretty good players are going to start to drop. Now, I don't know if Jalen Carter or Will Anderson or even Tyree Wilson are going to end up at number 10, but if they start getting into that 7, 8, 9 range, we know Howie Roseman is very aggressive, and it's not unlike him to say, all right, if there's a player who's a real game changer who slides lower than they thought he was going to be, they'll go up and get him. And we've seen that numerous times over the years. We saw it last year with Jordan Davis. We saw it a few years ago with Andre Dillard. They will get aggressive. If they think a player has slid below where they should be drafted, and if they have the assets to do it, they will.
Is the book still out on Jordan Davis quickly? Or do we know, have we established he's going to be the man?
I mean, we've just scratched the surface with what he can be in the NFL. It was a real shame his rookie year. He got that high ankle sprain in that Pittsburgh game. I really thought he was starting to hit his stride right then. So I'm still really bullish on Jordan Davis. I think he has a bright future. We just got to see it. He's got to stay healthy, and I think he can really get unleashed a little bit in his second season.
All right, let's talk about trades. Rams 3-time All-Pro cornerback, perennial Pro Bowler. Jalen Ramsey is reportedly available via trade. He's a 7-year veteran, 28 years old. Could you see the Eagles pursuing him or other big-time vets in the trade market as they did last year with A.J. Brown?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be Ramsey. He's owed a lot of money this season. I think that will be tough from a salary cap perspective, but they're always on the lookout for veteran talent through trades. And the thing I really appreciate about Howie Roseman when he makes these trades is that he's a problem solver. They'll try to figure out ways to acquire talent, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Think of a few years ago when they were really in the cornerback free agency market, and they kind of struck out. But then what did Howie do? He traded for Darius Slay. Or then, last year, obviously the A.J. Brown trade after the wide receivers got paid just crazy money. That Christian Kirk deal, which ended up being a good player down in Jacksonville. But when they made that deal, you thought, Howie's not going to pay that. And of course he didn't. He found another way to get it done. And that's what I really appreciate about Howie Roseman's roster building strategy is that he's always open to other avenues when something closes, whereas some GMs, I think, just have an idea of, all right, we have to get a wide receiver in free agency. We got to spend no matter what it is. Howie doesn't think that way. He thinks outside the box. And a lot of times in recent years, it's really worked out for them.
All right, David, thanks so much for your time. The DZ, Dave Zangaro, will check in with you throughout the week at the Combine in Indianapolis.